Okay, now that all the popular smartphone launches like Z Fold 6, Nothing's budget phone, Pixels, Moto Razr, everything is done, we can talk about something important. Something that comes with every smartphone launch. New gimmicks. Gimmicks like putting crazy 6000 nits high brightness in displays,
and repackaging an old processor into a new one.
throwing phones in reverse and washing machine, and last but not the least,
AI.
hell, renaming features to AI. This is Prateek.
This is Mrinal.
You're already watching TechVisor, and this is manufacturers say, and it is so convincing that you should stay away from them.
So number one would be over-the-top marketing. So if you see in the recent time, the Oppo F27 Pro Plus phone is being jet sprayed with water or being kept inside a washing machine. The reason being the Oppo F27 Pro Plus has the IP69 rating. So this IP69 rating is the highest water and dust resistant rating, which means a phone with IP69 rating can sustain high pressure, high dust or high water. And IP69 rating, if you guys have noticed, is very rare in smartphones. Most smartphones either have IP67 or IP68, which is sufficient for everyday use. But surprisingly, at mid-range, this Oppo F27 Pro Plus is currently listed as India's first smartphone to have this certification. But what if your IP69 phone gets damaged by the water itself? You might be wondering, well, it's covered under the warranty, right? Well, that's not the case here. Like for example, see this Oppo's warranty policy website. It says if your phone gets damaged by liquid, your phone goes out of warranty. And that's not just the case with Oppo. Even with the manufacturers like Apple or Samsung, you see their policies on the website. It clearly mentioned that the liquid damage phones are not covered under warranty. Now there are cases when brands like Samsung has protection plan for liquid damage, but you have to buy that separately. So next time you have your IP69 phone and you're chilling next to the pool, keep this in mind. Another example of over-the-top marketing is the extreme durability tests. For example, in the Honor X9B 5G, the phone is being dropped, stepped over, run over by a Thar, and even breaking walnut from that phone. Like see, this is a regular smartphone that doesn't claim any extreme durability, and these are the walnuts. Check this out. So how is this possible? Well, this is because these are paper shell walnut, which has a very super thin outer shell, which you can even break by your fingers. And it's not just Oppo, there's also Moto H50, which launched with military grade certification. In fact, the official ad shows the phone falling on stones, falling in the water stream, and goes into the snow, because it's military grade certified. And it's not like brands are lying to you. If you see this small disclosure at the bottom of the left screen, it clearly says that these tests are likely done on a controlled environment. And even for IP69, the disclaimer clearly says that drops and water exposure can actually damage the phone. And yes, even we put the phone inside the washing machine, and surprisingly it worked well. Now, while we are not saying that these durable smartphones or IP69 is 100% gimmick, but do you or I really need that, especially in a mid-range smartphone? So rather than spending money in this IP69 rating or making those crazy advertisements, wouldn't it be better to spend money on things that we actually use in daily life, like camera or software? Overall, whether there are disclaimer mentioned or not, it's always wiser not to believe in this over-the-top marketing gimmicks.
Another popular smartphone gimmick is high brightness numbers. Like it started with OnePlus coming with OnePlus 12R with 4500 nits of peak brightness, and then the Realme GT6 came with 6000 nits of peak brightness. Like, who needs all of that? Now you must be thinking, yeah, what's wrong with all of this? We need high brightness displays. See, the peak brightness of your phones only touches 3000 or 4000 nits in specific scenarios, and that too a small pixel. When you're watching HDR content on Netflix or watching HDR videos on YouTube, and that too when there are explosion scenes in movies, a certain pixel for a certain time hits 3000 to 4000 nits, and then everything comes back. But a very genuine question I have to ask, Team TechVisor, how many of us are watching HDR videos on Netflix with that HDR wala subscription? Or how many of us are watching those HDR scenery videos on YouTube? I think most of us are consuming non-HDR content mostly, but let's keep all of that aside. Let's get the Realme GT60, which hits 6000 nits peak brightness. So we tried testing the Realme GT6 peak brightness by putting a strong source of light, and even after that, if you see, we are getting only around 2300 nits. Well, what's wrong? If you see in the footnote of the Realme GT60 product page, in a very fine print, it is mentioned that the display local peak brightness of of Realme GT6/6T can be up to 6000 nits over 1 lakh lux in the Realme Lab, which is the highest in the smartphone industry. In very simple words, under some specific scenario, the display hits peak brightness and that is 6000 nits. See, I'll play a movie on Netflix side by side with the OnePlus 12R. Now, corporate wants you to find the difference between both the displays. Come on. Go on. See, the difference in real life as well as on camera is very hard to find. So the right number that you should be looking for is high brightness mode or HBM number, and you should also ask manufacturers to mention the same on their website.
So the third one is AI features that aren't truly AI. You know, as we said before,
This year you will see lots of AI in smartphones.
and as predicted, we saw AI in Samsung S series, Fold series, Pixel 8 series had AI, Motorola had Moto AI, and even OnePlus, they all have AI. And yes, how can we forget our own Apple Intelligence for all the AI fans out there? Now here's the thing, and I'm sure you guys can also relate. Brand often uses the word AI loosely to describe many software features that are simple algorithm or pre-programmed tasks rather than true artificial intelligence. Now, to be clear, not all AI features are gimmicks. For example, circle to search on S24 series and Pixel 8 series, that is actually good. Google Pixel in the US came out with call screening, which uses AI to filter out the spam calls and transcribe the voicemail in real time, allowing user to decide whether to answer the call or not. It can even book a table for you on the restaurant. Similarly, in S24 series, you can translate calls from English to Hindi or in 16 other languages. You can even summarize an article. Even in the recent Samsung Unpacked event, they launched the AI features like, if I draw a crown on top of Pratik's head, see, it makes the crown look so real and has depth and all. Or you can even translate calls on third-party apps like WhatsApp in real time, which works flawlessly well thanks to the AI. So these are the features that actually uses AI and are pretty helpful. But let's take a look at the other side of AI, the gimmick side. Now, some of the other manufacturers, like for example Realme GT6, see in the box it says AI powered, and the only usable AI feature that you get is the AI eraser in gallery. And not just that, AI beautification mode in many smartphones is basically generic filters on selfies and smoothing the skins and altering the features a little bit. Another example would be in the recent Moto launches. No cap, they're pretty good, but one common thing between all of them is Moto AI. What feature does it provide? Well, you can generate wallpaper, which is good, but not really something that you and I can use every day. Or another one, AI video stabilization. What exactly AI is doing here? Well, if you guys travel back in time, remember the EIS? Well, that's the modern name more or less for the AI video stabilization. So the point is, there are a lot of features that are getting renamed to AI, or I should say AI-fied. I don't know if that's even a word. Now, for a regular smartphone buyer, they don't understand this. If they see AI in the box, they will buy it, but not you, because you watch Team TechVisor.
Now, curved displays are not really a marketing gimmick, and it is very popular with phones like Motorola Edge 50 Pro, Realme GT6T and OnePlus 12R. Now, curved displays at the start looks very good, and I have nothing against them, because if you see from looks perspective, they sure look so good. But usually there are some problems with curved displays. Like number one, it is very hard to find the perfect curved tempered glass for your phone. We went to the local market to get a curved tempered glass applied on the Motorola Edge 50 Pro, and as you can see, they use UV glue, and chances are 90% of the time this glue gets into your charging ports and everything, which voids your warranty and even damages the phone. So you have to be careful with that. Now, this UV glass, tempered glass, even if you leave all of that aside, number two, curved displays are more delicate than flatter displays. Because if you see around the edges, the display is too much exposed compared to a flatter display. So especially when the phone falls diagonally or on the edge, the curved display is exposed so much to the fall that it breaks. And again, there are some amount of false touches with curved display. Now, I'm not saying that manufacturers should stop giving curved display, that's their choice. But if you're buying a curved display phone, you should know about these.
Next up, we have the infamous controversy. Yes, the Dimensity 7300 is better than Dimensity 7200. So here's what happened. Nothing Phone 2A, as we all know, comes with Dimensity 7200 Pro. Shortly after, CMF Phone 1 was revealed, which came with Dimensity 7300. Now, as expected, many of us assumed that Dimensity 7300 would be a significant upgrade over the Dimensity 7200. Like Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is better than Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is better than Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. And that's how it works, right? So you might be expecting the CMF Phone 1 would be performing better than the Nothing Phone 2A. Well, the answer is big no. It turns out that the Dimensity 7300 is not a proper upgrade over 7200, but rather a rebranded version of Dimensity 7050 with some minor upgrades. In fact, the Dimensity 7200 offers better GPU and CPU performance in some areas compared to 7300. And it's not just one case. Another processor that has a similar kind of gimmick is Snapdragon 6S Gen 3. When Qualcomm quietly introduced the Snapdragon 6S Gen 3, many tech enthusiasts noticed that it has a very similar specification as Snapdragon 695, including the same CPU, GPU and modem. However, Qualcomm later confirmed that the Snapdragon 6S Gen 3 is indeed the enhanced version of Snapdragon 695, having minor improvements in CPU, GPU, but it has AI cores, so you can do on-device AI stuff. However, that being said, these enhancements are still not significant enough to justify new generation label. Now, coming back to our next gimmick. If you remember the recent OnePlus Nord CE4 Lite or even the iQOO Z9s 5G, they both come with 300% ultra volume mode, which allow you to boost the speaker volume beyond 100%, which is the standard. While this may seem impressive, it can be misleading. So let's put it to test. We have the S24 Ultra, which has a really good speaker here. So side by side, we will play the same music on both phones, as well as we will measure the audio level. As you can see, this is slightly loud, but definitely not 3 times louder. See, for regular people, when they think of 300%, they think it's 3 times louder. But that's not how it works when it comes to sound, which doesn't work in a straight line, but in logarithm. And moreover, continuously using 300% mode can potentially strain or even damage the speaker over time. And it's not just one example. Last year, Nord CE3 Lite had 200% volume boost. And if we don't stop this today, the next year Nord CE5 Lite will have 400%. Where does it stop?
Now, these were some of the popular gimmicks that we recently faced, and we compiled them into a very good video. And just like the latest cloth trend, these gimmicks also keep on changing. So if you want to stay updated on any smartphone information, subscribe to TechVisor so you don't miss on that. On that note, this is Pratik signing off. See you in the next video. Pew pew.